Every story has an end. Every fire burns to ash. For all of history, humanity has been haunted by this one inescapable truth. But what if it wasn't the truth? What if the end was just a disguise for a new beginning? For millennia, across civilizations that never met, a single powerful legend offered an answer to that question. A creature born not from life, but from death itself. The ultimate symbol of hope and rebirth. A bird crowned in fire, whose tears could heal any wound, and whose song inspired the purest hope. This is the phoenix, the physical manifestation of our eternal desire for immortality. Its story is one of the world's oldest and most profound ancient mysteries, a tale that whispers a single powerful promise: death is not the end. Join us as we decode immortality itself by tracing the 5,000-year-old history of the phoenix. We will journey through mythology, from the sun-drenched temples of ancient Egypt to the philosophical forums of Greece and the imperial palaces of China, to uncover how this one legend conquered the world. The story of the immortal firebird will now be explained. Our 5,000-year journey begins here, in the cradle of civilization, ancient Egypt. This was a culture built around cycles. The cycle of the mighty Nile, whose annual flood brought life to the desert, and the ultimate cycle, the daily journey of the sun god Ra, who sailed his solar barge across the sky by day and through the perilous underworld by night, only to be reborn at dawn. At the center of this belief system was the city of Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Here it was believed that creation began when a primordial mound rose from the dark, chaotic waters of Nun. And the first creature to appear on that mound, the first life to witness the first sunrise, was a magnificent bird. They called it the Bennu. Depicted as a graceful heron with a two-feathered crest, the Bennu was far more than just a bird. It was considered the Ba, or the living soul of the sun god Ra himself. Its first cry from the primordial mound was said to have set creation in motion. The Bennu was the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning of all things. It was perched atop the Benben stone, the sacred tip of the obelisk, and every morning, as Ra was reborn in the east, the Bennu would greet the dawn, its call heralding the return of light and life to the world. Crucially, this cycle of rebirth was not just for the gods. The Bennu offered a promise of eternity to every human. In the sacred texts of the Book of the Dead, spells were written that would allow the soul of the deceased to transform into a great Bennu. By becoming the Bennu, the soul could fly out from the darkness of the underworld, navigate the afterlife, and be reborn with the morning sun, joining Ra on his eternal journey. The Bennu was not just a symbol of creation, it was the ultimate vehicle for resurrection. The Bennu's promise of eternal life was a powerful one, but for centuries, it was a story largely confined to the banks of the Nile. For this legend to conquer the world, it needed a storyteller, a bridge between civilizations. It found one in the insatiably curious Greek historian Herodotus. While traveling through Egypt, Herodotus was captivated by the tale of the sacred sunbird, but when he recorded it for the Greek world, the story he told was far more dramatic, fiery, and unforgettable than the original. This is the moment the legend was set ablaze. Herodotus wrote of a sacred bird from distant, exotic Arabia. He described it as resplendent in plumage of crimson and gold, a creature so beautiful it resembled a living jewel. He wrote that every 500 years, as the old bird felt its death approaching, it wouldn't simply pass away. Instead, it would build its own funeral pyre, a nest not of twigs and leaves, but of the finest, most fragrant spices, myrrh, frankincense, and cinnamon. There it would sing a final, beautiful elegy, and the heat of the sun would ignite the nest, consuming the old phoenix in a holy, aromatic fire. But from the heart of the flames, from the smoldering ashes of its own demise, a new, young phoenix would arise, immortal and renewed. And with this new, fiery story, the Greeks gave the creature a new name, the phoenix. The name itself is a key to decoding the legend. The Greek word phoinix meant crimson or purple-red, the color of fire and the color of royalty, perfectly describing this majestic flaming bird. But phoinix was also the Greek word for the date palm tree, a tree known for its incredible resilience that can wither in the desert heat and appear dead, only to miraculously produce fruit again, a powerful symbol of life triumphing over desolation. The Greeks didn't just retell a story, they infused it with their own powerful symbols of fire, royalty, and endurance. They transformed the Egyptian Bennu into the legendary phoenix we know today. As the legend of the fire-born phoenix was taking shape in the West, a remarkably similar yet distinct mythical bird already graced the skies of the East. In China, it is known as the Fenghuang. It is a creature of breathtaking beauty, its plumage said to be composed of the 5 fundamental colors, representing the 5 cardinal virtues of Confucianism: benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and sincerity. Unlike the solitary phoenix, the Fenghuang was often a pair, the male Feng and the female Huang. Their appearance was the most auspicious omen imaginable, a celestial signal that a wise and benevolent emperor was on the throne, and that the empire would enjoy an era of peace and prosperity. But here lies a crucial point of decoding, a detail often lost in translation when the Fenghuang is simply called the Chinese phoenix. For all its similarities in beauty and auspiciousness, the original Fenghuang is not a phoenix. It does not die in flames to be reborn. The original legend describes it as an immortal creature, a symbol not of resurrection, but of perfect harmony. The Feng and Huang pair represented the union of yin and yang, the balance of male and female energies that keeps the universe in order. Its core concept was balance, not the dramatic cycle of death and rebirth. So how did the two legends become so intertwined? The answer, as is often the case, lies in the great cultural highways of the ancient world. As the story of the fiery Western Phoenix traveled east along the Silk Road with merchants and missionaries, it proved to be an incredibly compelling tale. Over time, elements of the Phoenix's fire and rebirth myth began to be absorbed into East Asian folklore. The Fenghuang started to be depicted with fiery attributes, and the lines between the two distinct legends began to blur. This is a perfect example of how myths are not static. They are living stories that travel, evolve and influence one another across borders and millennia. As the Phoenix legend, refined by the Greeks, spread across the Mediterranean, it was adopted by the most powerful empire the world had ever known, Rome. As the Roman Empire grew, its leaders faced a constant challenge: how to project an image of eternal power and stability to its millions of citizens. The eagle was their primary military symbol, but the phoenix offered something more profound. Emperors like Hadrian and Constantine began to mint the phoenix on their coins. This wasn't just decoration, it was powerful propaganda. The message to the world was clear: just like the phoenix, Rome can endure any crisis, overcome any fire, and will always be reborn from its ashes, stronger than before. The empire is eternal. But the phoenix's most powerful transformation was yet to come. As Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, its early followers faced persecution and the constant threat of death. They needed a symbol of hope, a powerful promise of life after death. And in the pagan legend of the phoenix, they found a perfect pre-existing metaphor. For early Christians, the story was undeniable: a divine creature dying in a self-made pyre of myrrh, only to rise again, victorious on the third day. The parallel to Christ's death and resurrection was too powerful to ignore. The phoenix was adopted as a secret symbol of their faith, painted on the walls of the Roman catacombs, a silent promise to the faithful that death was not the end, but a gateway to eternal life. The legend's journey didn't end there. Alchemists saw the phoenix's fiery death and rebirth as the ultimate allegory for their great work, the transmutation of base lead into pure gold and the purification of the human soul. And today, the phoenix is more powerful than ever. From the logos of global companies to the beloved character of Fox in Harry Potter, it is the ultimate symbol of hope, loyalty, and grace in the face of overwhelming adversity. It reminds us that our endings are not final, and that from the ashes of our greatest failures, we can always find the strength to rise again. And so, our 5,000-year journey comes to a close. We have chased a legend across the globe, a story that changed its feathers but never its soul. We began on the banks of the Nile with the Bennu, the sacred soul of the sun god Ra. We watched as it flew to Greece, where it was baptized in fire and ash and given the name Phoenix. We heard its echo in the east, in the harmonious flight of the Fenghuang. We saw its image stamped on Roman coins, a promise of an eternal empire, and painted on the walls of catacombs, a secret symbol of an eternal soul. The phoenix is more than a myth. It is one of humanity's most powerful and enduring ideas. It is proof that in every culture, in every age, we have looked at the finality of an ending, the dying fire, the setting sun, the fall of an empire, and chosen to believe in a new dawn. The phoenix isn't a story about a bird that can't die. It's a story about a hope that can't be extinguished. It is the legend we tell ourselves when we need to believe that every ending is just the beginning of a new and perhaps more beautiful story. But what legend should we decode next? The deep-sea terror, the Kraken, or a different myth entirely? Let us know in the comments below. If you learned something new from this history, please like this video, subscribe to Epic Legends Decoded, and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching.